Ever since Deion Sanders came to Colorado, one of the bigger games that a lot of people had circled, or at least should have, is the first game against TCU. The Horned Frogs are coming off a national championship run, obviously ended in disappointment, but this is a team that is going to compete for a Big 12 championship once again. And they're looking to make a statement against one of the hottest and most polarizing teams in college football. Now, Deion has a lot of work to do. You look at the numbers for Colorado, this is clearly a team that has a ton to fix, a ton to address. And you bring in 70 plus transfers, that's obviously going to address certain things. You're at least raising the talent level, but the depth is probably the biggest question. Do you have the depth? Do you have the talent at the second and third string players to be able to compete with some of these teams? And last year, obviously, TCU had no trouble once they got settled in, putting away Colorado. And this year could be the same. It's just that you're facing a much different team, basically a brand new looking team in Colorado this year. So how quickly can Dion change things is probably the biggest question, because when you look at Colorado and what they did last year, the culture obviously needed to be fixed, the talent level needed to be fixed, and he quickly did that. You're looking at a guy who's taking drastic measures, and it's obvious why he's doing that. But what does that mean for on the field play? Can this be a team that takes a step? Can this be a team that reaches new heights? And when does that happen? Because this is a team that brings in a lot of talent, but does that necessarily mean that you're going to win football games? I think you need some stability. You need certain players to return. That experience, that chemistry is super underrated. And Colorado just doesn't have that right now. They have certain players that are some of the best at their position in college football, but TCU is going to be a team that is ready to compete with some of these teams that they'll face. And they are definitely the better team. And after losing the national championship the way that they did, you can bet that the players returning remember how much that stings. And that could be a factor in this game. And if Colorado isn't playing with a good technique, they're not trusting their teammates, this could get out of hand pretty quickly. It's just a matter of how long does Colorado stick around. And the quarterback position is really the most interesting one, because Chandler Morris gets another chance to be the starter. We obviously remember that he was the starter last year and got hurt in this game in 2022. And now he faces a different quarterback in Shadur Sanders. Shadur obviously follows Dion, his dad, to Colorado, had a big year for Jackson State, and now he gets to come to the Power Five level. So, what can he do at the Power Five level? Is it going to translate? Is his success going to continue? That's probably the biggest thing. And that'll be one thing to keep an eye on, because Shadur was very talented, very exciting, over 3,700 yards and 40 touchdowns, like I said. And he honestly, he has the talent to be a good player at the Power Five level. Now, I don't think that some of these people that are saying he's a Heisman candidate, Colorado's a top 25 team, that's a little bit overboard. I think that yes, it's great that you brought in talent, but there's so much more to this game than just bringing in talent. You have to find ways to get on board. I don't know how quickly you can build a culture in one off season. Dion's obviously doing everything he can to do that, but there are certain things that you still need to fix. And I don't think that they addressed all of the gaps that they needed. And you're facing a TCU team that is not a well-oiled machine, but they are definitely not as rusty as Colorado. And you'll see that. Chandler Morris, obviously, his numbers don't scream elite or electric, but I think that he is set to have a big year. And when you look at Sonny Dykes is a great offensive mind. You lose Garrett Riley, so that hurts quite a bit, but this is still a team that will put up a ton of points. This is still a quarterback in Chandler Morris that will put up big numbers because of the talent level around him. When you look at the players he has returning, there's the skill positions really need some help. So they went to the transfer portal for that, but you still have guys like Savion Williams. You have tight end Jared Wiley, and then you bring in JoJo Earl from the transfer portal. You bring in JP Richardson. There are plenty of options at the pass catchers, and you're looking at a quarterback that should feel just as comfortable as he was last year, even with new faces. And replicating what Max Duggan did is just not possible. The magic that we saw is not going to happen 2 years in a row. But Chandler Morris can be his own quarterback. He can be his own player, and he can find ways to put up points in a hurry, and TCU is going to score. It's just a matter of really how many, because Sonny Dykes knows how to scheme open guys. It doesn't matter who his OC is, it doesn't matter who he's playing with. He knows how to get the right guys on campus, and he's got some talented players that can make some serious noise, especially in week one. And if Colorado honestly isn't prepared to play, then it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for Colorado. It's going to be a long day for Deion Sanders, and back to the drawing board. The next week of practice is going to be tough to move on. They're going to take their licks. Yes, they're going to make some plays too, but TCU is definitely the better team right now. And obviously, you want to watch Shedeur Sanders, what he can do. You always want to watch Travis Hunter, the cornerback slash wide receiver for Colorado. I'm interested to see how much wide receiver he actually does play, because he's going against a secondary in TCU that is extremely talented, even with the loss of the Jim Thorpe Award winner, Travis Hodges Tomlinson. I think they have players that might be even better than him. And that's something to keep an eye on. You don't just assume that Travis Hunter is going to dominate, especially against this defense. Yes, the front group, the defensive line for TCU needs some work. Dominic Williams is the only returner among that group, but this is still a group on the back end that is really talented and will make life difficult for Colorado to move football down the field. So I'm curious to see what Shedeur does at this next level. I'm curious if a healthy Chandler Morris makes a huge difference for TCU. And right now, TCU is the favorite. They will win the game. It's just a matter of how much do they win by.